Greetings. We are now going to talk about pain-free sizing your new commercial water treatment system. We want to make this as easy as possible and make sure that the correct equipment is installed, so we need some information going in. We need to know what's the end goal, how much water are they using, both in gallons per minute and gallons per day, and what are the characteristics of the water that your customer wants to have removed. So we'll start with an untreated water sample being sent to us. Be sure and mark commercial on your submitted paperwork. And if the water has a rotten egg smell, hydrogen sulfide or sulfur, you'll need to do the test for that on site and let me know what the parts per million results are. Also, we need to know whether this is city water or is it a private well. If it is a private well, then what's the gallons per minute pumping rate? And if it's city water, what's the size of the main coming in from the street? Is this water going to be used for irrigation? If so, then they will obviously use much more than a typical installation, so we'll need to know that information also. Is the water going to be needed 24/7, or is there a downtime in the middle of the night when we can do backwash and rinse and regeneration? Is our equipment always going to be under pressure? Or is this a pump and dump, where we are treating the water at a lower flow rate directly from the well, dumping it into an atmospheric holding tank, and then there would be a repressurization boost pump and pressure tank to send the water out to service? If that's the case, then we will have to tee in after their pressure tank with a check valve to run a line back to our equipment so that when it goes into regeneration, there's always water under pressure. Don't worry about the complexity of this. We'll include drawings with all of our equipment that plainly shows how these lines need to be run. Also, for all water treatment installations, you must install a vacuum breaker. Typically, it's installed very near the outlet of the control valve. These are most critical pieces of equipment to protect the system from a catastrophic failure resulting from a leak in a pipe somewhere away from our equipment. We just had a call today from a dairy farm where they had a pipe burst down in the well, water drained back, sucked water out of the filter tank, and it imploded due to the vacuum. So you need to protect the equipment with that vacuum breaker. Other things to consider for the installation would be whether or not they would benefit from a new ProPlex progressive flow system. Drop has its own version of this that will be discussed later in the program, but these are very popular systems for large homes and other larger use applications like hospitals, hotels, nursing homes, things like that. But again, there will be more information later. Some final thoughts when we're talking about having a trouble-free installation of commercial equipment. Make sure that there's a door big enough to get the large tanks inside. Also, check ceiling space. It's embarrassing, but it does happen where equipment gets installed to a job site and they cannot get it in the room that they want it to. If that's the case, where you have a narrow door or low ceiling, let us know the dimensions and we'll be happy to custom engineer a solution for you. Once you know all this information and provided it to us, we will be able to offer up to you a water treatment solution that will give you a happy as possible customer.